Hi everybody, Cohh here with a quick thoughts video, this time on the completion of Stellar Blade. Stellar Blade is a game that I originally was a little bit hesitant about. It was a game that I thought really accentuated some of the physical form of humanity as a whole. And as such, I have to say that when I went into it, I was like, okay, I'll try this out. We'll see how it is. Not really expecting much, but going, it looks really good. And a demo came out and some people said it played pretty well, so let's give it a try. Cool. Is this game good? I have no idea yet. Just started. Now that I have finished Stellar Blade, I can safely say that this game under the hood is one of the better action adventure games I think I've played. Stellar Blade is a really, really solid game. It has some beautiful world design. Ooh, look at this. Hall of Records. I love the presentation of this game. It has some very interesting and engaging enemy design. The combat system has a lot of depth, is fun, but is unique because there is a built-in kind of half-second delay and this kind of light queuing system where some actions prioritize over others. And what it does is it makes the combat, especially when it's really action heavy and you're parrying and stuff, it makes it feel slower and a little bit on a delay. But now that I've finished the game, I'm about 90% certain it also makes the game significantly easier because I'm pretty sure it's designed to kind of be more of a catch-all for your inputs and then kind of prioritize the ones that may work best in the situation. So to us, it feels like there's a little bit of delay, but I did notice multiple times that like, a lot of times if I might hit a parry and an attack in the same motion, in that little extra delay that's there, it would prioritize the parry. And it's kind of like, oh, that feels kind of good. So I'm wondering if that was the thinking there. But I will say, it is enough to feel different. It is just enough to where the combat in Stellar Blade feels slightly different than like a Devil May Cry. Doesn't look like it. Not so much. Or Sekiro. There's just this tiny little fraction of a delay, but I think it works. I think it works, and I think it worked pretty well. Music. What are your thoughts on the soundtrack? The music is great, but it gets very repetitive.
Digger, what's on your mind?
Music was stellar. Ugh. Can't believe I unintentionally did that, especially towards the end of the game. The end of the game, the entire ending sequence was phenomenal. In fact, very much worth a playthrough in that regard. Whoa.
Wow. The atmosphere here is so unique.
And one thing I'm going to end with this video on, and more because I'm kind of interested on what you guys think. I have some opinions on it that are I think are in a lot of ways tempered by my age and everything. But I'm kind of curious about what the public thinks as a whole. So one of the things about Stellar Blade that I've talked about in the playthrough, and I'm going to mention in this video, is I do think that at times I feel like this game could have been better or received better and maybe being talked about more if it wasn't so hypersexualized. I feel like the game itself is so good and there's so much core awesomeness in it that I found myself in our playthrough losing my immersion in all that cool stuff because I'd start cracking jokes about how hot she is or her side boobs. Is the light reflecting off that butt RTX or is that baked in? That's a great question. This is actually full refracted lighting. If you look at the light on the curvature of the derriere, you can see how the particles refract off of the cheek. And looking back, I wonder, I like the boobs and the butta. I do. We are currently playing Stellar Blade. It's a great game so far. It has some excellent butts gameplay. It has lots of great gameplay. But I wonder if the experience would have been more immersive and interesting if the characters were more set in the world and less things to ogle. And here, let me give you a good example before I say that. Before I continue. Imagine if Devil May Cry, if Dante was shirtless the whole time in hot pants. And every time he did a move, it zoomed in on his rippling pecs and his throbbing biceps, and that he did like poses and moves. Now, a lot of you guys are like, oh man, that's awesome. But also a lot of you guys are like, that would completely change Devil May Cry for me. Like, I would look at that game and be like, I'm not interested in that at all. And I feel like a lot of people do that with Stellar Blade. I feel like a lot of people look at Stellar Blade and just go, oh, I'm not into that. And then they miss out on this really awesome gaming experience. God, I picked the right outfit for this fight. Like it's great. It's just a great video game. And I do wonder, would the game do better if the base game is that good, where like it doesn't need that extra layer of attraction? Does that sexualization actually hurt the title? And that's what I'm kind of curious about you guys. That's what I want to hear about in the comments. What do you think? What is my consensus? Is I actually think that it might. I think that it might. I think that the over-sexualization in Stellar Blade at times removed me from how good the game was. Is that how it is for you? Let me know. I'm interested. But anyway, that's the end of this thoughts video. Stellar Blade is awesome. I highly recommend it. Even if boobs and butts are not your thing, the game is awesome. And it's really worth checking out. I really hope we see another one. The ending, especially like, if you take all the, I'm going to spoil this slightly, but it is worth saying. There are multiple endings. And if you watch them all and put them together, it paints a very interesting picture for where the franchise is going. And I have to say that it is a very exciting thing. I haven't quite felt this level of like, ooh, what's next? Since the end of Days Gone, which is pretty cool. But anyway, as we get to the end, I do just want to say that, I was really blown away by this game. I'm super, super glad we stuck with it. It was one of those games that was really engaging and interesting and fun, and I really hope that more people kind of dive into it. It got kind of overshadowed by a lot of other news events and releases when it came out, so I do kind of hope that we get to a point that you know, it gets a little bit more appreciation. So yeah, fun. Anyway, thank you all so much for being here. I will see you all later. Find me at twitch.tv/CohhCarnage. And yeah, thanks for your time. Bye-bye.